Okay, this is Trophy Gold, Top of the World, Part 3. We have the return of a player and character. Jen is back playing the fabulous Rasay, and the timing was pretty good because the timing is pretty good because the group is not in great shape. So, Jen, here's the deal. Here's the recap. You watched the video up to the point of the combat with the statue of Saint Bargina, and they managed to defeat that stone guardian. And then what they did was they spent 3 tokens to basically navigate the Grand Basilica. They went down inside the Grand Basilica and began navigating this quite vast space filled with little congregations all over the place and little chapels and things. They were following essentially these beetles. These beetles were walking in the direction of the reliquary that they're after. And so sort of leading the way, Korkuluk managed to navigate them to this little chapel kind of in a somewhat remote part of the basilica where no one else is around. And they found a nun who was praying before the reliquary in this chapel. And this nun revealed herself to be the sister of Patience Davies, who is their patron back in Fort Durin. And yes, Brian says, "Oh crap, praying mantis, just got it." I didn't know if anyone was going to catch on to that or not. She does not want the reliquary to leave the chapel. In fact, she reveals that she's trying to prevent her sister from getting her hands on it. And so in order to defend the reliquary from this group, she begins to transform into a massive massive multi-limbed praying mantis creature. Like she has 4 of the sort of bladed forelimbs, right? And huge, 15, 20 feet tall, like a very Dark Souls kind of massive monstrosity. And that's kind of where we're at. I think if you're okay with it, Jen, I think what would be interesting for Rasay is if you manage to track the group to the Grand Basilica and have been following them, and you maybe come upon them just as they are getting ready to face down this nun that has turned into a giant mantis creature. And so I guess I think that there are not many opportunities for characters to be heroic in Trophy Gold. This is one of them because the characters are all very, very hurt. They probably can't do this fight. Because right now, Korkuluk is at 5 ruin with 1 armor.
I have a soup tureen, yes.
You have 1 armor, so you can maybe take a hit. Diane is at 5 ruin with no armor. Osto, who you've never even met, Osto has 4 ruin, so he can take 1 hit, but importantly, no armor. So a 2-hit thing would kill Osto. You, Rasay, your starting ruin, because you have 1 ritual, is 2, and so you've still got you're fresh. I mean, you've got 4 more. You got 3 hits you can take before you die. So I think what would be interesting here is to give you, Rasay, an opportunity to basically get them out of here. They can grab the reliquary and get gone, right? Maybe without having to fight it, or if you want to just run in there and fight it, I suppose you could, because you are a warrior type. That's something you might be, inclined to do. But yeah, think about it for a moment, because I think that's kind of where we're at. If you're going to save them, how? And yeah, I'm kind of seeing what that looks like. So what do you think?
So I think one addendum to tracking them down is probably, as a former Kingsguard, I might have connections, so I might know that the guard was looking for them,
right?
And have a sense of where their lead was. So that might be how I got some information on that.
Oh, nice.
As far as grants, I don't know. I'm assuming I got out of that scrape.
Well, I was actually going to follow up about that. So
Okay.
once we got back to Fort Duran, yeah.
Yeah.
Unless you have an idea now, but I was going to kind of pick up in Fort Duran with that. So
No, it's fine. We can pick up with it later. Yeah, so I think probably uh, I will come down here. I will probably have heard of Osto like through the grapevine of my connections, but not know what he would look like.
mhm.
So I'll probably like assume that one of the three people that isn't a giant praying mantis is on the good side, um, and kind of just like run in there. And I wouldn't know probably that they're after the reliquary in the same way. So if anybody is able to like fill me in like 3 words or less in this dangerous situation, go for it.
Right. Yeah. I like that. I mean, I think that's great. I think you can like. I think we can just say that like you intuit what they're after, right? You might even overhear Korkaluk talking to the sister before about the reliquary before she transforms, because there was a little bit of conversation about it before she made her transformation. Korkaluk basically misjudged the situation, because that Korkaluk thought that like because they were sisters that they would be aligned with each other, but they're not. That was the mistake, and so this is the situation they're in right now. So yeah, I like all that. I think that's great. Are you thinking like combat, or are you thinking like some kind of risk roll or ritual even to get them out of there? I mean, you have the hold ritual, so that could be helpful.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that. Yeah, I think probably if I can direct them out, I would probably do a hold ritual on the door to this area so that she couldn't
She can't
follow us.
cross.
Yeah, I mean she's huge. Could she even fit through any kind of exit?
Yeah, she could, because everything in the Grand
Okay.
Basilica is grand. Like the archways are huge and everything is huge, right?
Okay.
So she actually, like, in the context of this space, is fairly small, and you're all tiny. So, yeah, yeah, I think the whole ritual is great. I mean, I guess so. I guess if we're gonna do that, just define what success looks like here. Like, is it, um, yeah, what are you trying to accomplish?
I mean, I think as far as Risay is concerned, just like getting them behind a barrier that she can't follow is the most important thing. If I think her priority does not include getting the reliquary. I'm sure it might for one of them though. So like if they want to take a risk roll to like grab
Grab
that
it. Yeah, yeah,
before she does her ritual so they don't get stuck in there,
yeah.
that's up to them.
I think that's fair. So the ritual to get everybody out to safety, keep her at bay using the hold. That sounds fabulous to me. Korkaluk, are you willing to risk it to try to grab the reliquary?
It seems like I should. I'm looking at my own rituals of mask to remain stationary and remove myself from sight, or rewind to slightly push someone back in time. Questioning whether that might be a way to leverage grabbing this.
It's not a bad idea. I will point out that if the dark die rolled higher, if the dark die rolled 6, you'd be done for, right? So
Exactly.
yeah, so it's dangerous. I mean, it's pretty risky, but
Right. 16% chance of death.
yeah, if you restrict yourself to light dice, you at least don't take the ruin increase, right? So
That's a really good point. Very good point. Okay. Remind me on risk rolls then. So it's using the environment items you have, yes, or a light.
it's right here on the page. Light die for something you're skilled at because of your occupation, background, or training, or because you're taking advantage of the equipment of the environment. So yeah, and then a light die for Devil's Bargain. If you're willing to risk your mind or body to succeed, you add a dark die. I would make it optional in this case just because the stakes are so high. So essentially like what you're, after you do the roll, if you don't succeed, you would have to make a really tough decision about whether to add a dark die or not to try to succeed. So
All right. Given skill with artifacts and obfuscation, purloining reliquaries is kind of almost second nature to me. So let's go
Yeah,
for it.
I'm into it. And I also think just like the environment as well, because you're going to have the benefit, presumably, of the hold, right? And Risay doing her work to keep the creature at bay. So I think that's legit. Let's back up, though, and talk about what could go wrong. I mean, that's the kind of first thing I think. What could go wrong? I'll offer the basic thing of you just don't get the reliquary, right? And you have to just retreat. And the question is for everybody else. So
I think not making it back before the hold ritual is like set up.
While trying to go for this, she could get between him and the door.
What if the containment on the reliquary breaks?
Oh, so meaning like you have the object but not the reliquary itself.
Or maybe something happens because it's freed?
Oh, that's even better. I was just going like, oh, it's just a mess. No, there's like some magical badness. Yeah, I'm into that for sure. Okay, those are all interesting. So you get the one light die for, I think, the combination of like you've been so focused on the reliquary plus the fact that Risay is trying to get you guys out of there and working magic on the Manus creature. Devil's bargains. This is where it could get interesting. No matter what, Sister Davies is hunting you all down.
The little beetles that were followed down, are they still in the area?
They can be, yeah.
I don't know if they have like any connection to Corkaluk's lady love, but maybe on the way out he like steps on a bunch of these, and she might get mad about it later.
Earns her disfavor. Yeah, it's good. I like that. There's an irony to it, really, think about it. Drew or Blaine, any ideas for Devil's Bargains?
No matter what, the powers of the reliquary affect him.
No matter what, he loses a limb.
Nice. All intriguing options. What do you think, Brian?
All right. So losing a limb, stepping upon exotic beetles that are going to later offend patients, being hunted by Sister Davies. Blaine, remind me of what yours was. I'm sorry.
Like some sort of power from the reliquary affects you in some way.
Got it. I like the weird open-endedness that this reliquary is a lot more than what it seems. That both the risk of it breaking loose and that it's got some influence over me seems like.
I mean, Davies' sisters are obviously very like, focused on it for a reason, right? We don't really know what that is yet, but yeah. Fantastic. So go ahead and roll 2 light dice. Let's see how that goes initially to risk 2.
5 and a
5.
4.
Success with complication. I'm going to take the complication of I'm going to kind of go with what Drew said a little bit and say that you managed to grab the reliquary, and not before she manages to swing down one of her scythe forearms and just slice off your leg, meaning they have to drag you out the rest of the way. If you're okay with that, you have succeeded. Otherwise, yeah, and you'll have a condition with missing a leg. So I assume that's okay. All right. Give us the scene then. What does it look like?
Oh. So I feel Korkaluk is so overjoyed to see Risay return. There's a moment of hesitation and that kind of friendly, like, "Hi! Oh, this is not a great time for a reunion." And then realizing a bit latently the plan that Risay has to enforce this doorway, to kind of buttress it up. I have to have that reliquary, otherwise I'm coming back to patience empty-handed, and it's just not okay. So better to come back less physically intact, but with this reliquary. And so I make the move of leaping over the balustrade to dash forward and grab this thing off of its plinth, kind of trying to gently tuck it underneath my arm. In that dash, clearly slashing, praying limbs are snatching at me, and as it's Sister Davies is grabbing for the reliquary, I try that flailing kick with my leg, and she just snatches and yanks and rips out the vines and tendrils that hold that hip joint in place and hauls those away. And I kind of scuttle along, beetle-like, if you will, but cradling this glass reliquary.
Nice. I like it. That's great. Well, Risay, you're on deck. Get them out of here safely. So you've made your goal pretty obvious. What could go wrong, Brian, Drew, or Blaine? I'll do the obvious one. Hold doesn't work. She breaks through the barrier, and you have to combat her. So.
The hold works, but Risay's on the wrong side. Which I guess is the same kind of.
Yeah, it's very specifically putting it all on Risay, which I think is deliciously wicked. So yeah. That's what this purpose. That's what this whole procedure's for. It's for everyone to like guide the narrative, right? So, Blaine or Brian, any thoughts?
Like in the chaos of getting out of there, everybody just sort of like keeps running in different directions and gets separated.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
What if the markings of the ritual, the magical markings, there are just obvious to people that this was made by a former member of the King's Guard? Some people within the Basilica, perhaps Sister Davies herself, can identify Risay from sort of magical residual effects.
Oh, so basically somehow Risay's loses face with the King's Guard somehow or something like that, or there's some kind of like implication there.
Maybe, or long play out, let's assume we survive this, that somehow Sister Davies has a great deal of animosity towards Risay, while I, or perhaps even respect for Risay, while I'm on the other side of the fence of these two sisters, that I'm more aligned with Patience, that somehow it down the road leads to a schism.
Interesting. I'll think on that. Okay, so let's talk about dice. What do you think in terms of skills or equipment? Protection?
Yeah, I think protection for sure. I don't know if my others would really apply. There's an argument that like speed is I'm quick on the draw and can figure out the situation.
Right,
but,
yeah. And then protection feels good. If your instinct is to like guard everyone, right? Makes sense. Devil's bargains. This is the interesting part. My devil's bargain is, I'm going to go back to my other one. My devil's bargain is Sister Davies hunts the group from here on out and may turn up at an opportune moment in the future.
Guards could show up.
Oh, that could be fun. Yeah.
I was thinking along those lines too. So,
Brian, any other thoughts?
I've got an ugly one, but I don't know that it would. Whatever. I'll throw it out and definitely probably reject it. That in making this guardian move here in the Basilica, that some side effect of this hold spell casts you into kind of a stone guardian figure, and that we are somehow stuck figuring out a solution to get you out. I don't know what that is. So it might be a bad devil's bargain.
A figurative and almost literal bookend to the last session, right? Like Stone Guardian. Good. I'm intriguing.
So to
Jen, what do
clarify
you think?
to clarify that last one, that would be like the magic backfires and I get stuck inside a Stone Guardian. Is that what I'm hearing?
That was kind of what I was describing, the sense that within this realm of Basilica, the Basilica probably is covered with statues of guardian figures, and that you somehow tap into that, become one yourself. But again, I don't know how we get you back from that state.
It's a fun idea, though. I like the idea of, like, is it Super Mario Brothers 3 where Mario in the Tanuki thing where he can become a little stone statue? Like, you know, idea, but a new ritual, maybe little stone statue ritual. I don't know. Just throwing out thoughts. Anyway, Jen, it's up to you.
That last one is interesting, but I'm not sure how I would go about resolving it. So I'll go for the Kingsguard showing up.
All right, sounds good. You're up to 2 light dice. You must do the dark die. Go ahead and roll all 3. Risk 2, 1.
But
5 light. The complication is going to be the hold works long enough for everyone to get out, but in order for you to get out, I think you have to go around a combat with her. If you want to add a dark die, you can try again. You good with that?
Yeah. So round of combat. Got it.
Yeah, just a single round. After that, you can run away. But go ahead and just describe it up to that point, like getting everybody out of there.
Yeah, I think so. Corkluck will grab the thing. He's got his leg chopped off. So I think I might try and, like, Corkluck, if you are fine with this, like, hoist him over my shoulder to, like, carry him back. And that means I have to do the ritual one-handed, which I'm not used to. So I'm able to keep it up long enough to get them behind it, but then it kind of, like, shatters a little bit and ends up behind me. And it's weaker, so I could probably, like, go through it if it had a little bit of time to, like, reform, but it's in the wrong position right now.
I like that a lot. And yeah, and so everyone else is in safety. I think you have to battle her for 1 round. You obviously can't beat her in 1 round, but you know, maybe one of your hardier companions could jump in for a round, and maybe you guys could actually take her out. That would be something. But it's a risk, but it's something. In any case, there is a combat that's about to happen. Who's participating?
Asta will join in.
You see that Rasay is having to, like, actually fend for herself and battle the thing off. I like that.
I've got a soup tureen, and I'm willing to try and, so overjoyed to have my old friend carry me out. I feel like, can't leave Rasay hanging.
You only have 1 leg. I'm not going to let you.
All right.
So Osto and Rasay, the creature has an endurance of 11. Please tell me how you are vulnerable and roll your weak point.
Yay, 6. So I think as far as vulnerable goes, like, obviously I'm carrying my friend. I think, like, the time that it takes for me to put him down to get out my bow staff is a moment of weakness.
Osto, how are you vulnerable?
Maybe Osto just really doesn't like bugs, and so he's unsettled.
Nice. I noticed that your weak point is 5. So
Yep.
the literal 2 numbers you need to roll in order to defeat her in 1 round are your bad numbers. I love it. Osto, since you bravely joined the fight, why don't you roll the combat? See how it goes. That's 2 dice. Oh, I can also throw in. I think Shiara can help out too. I think Shiara will join in and basically. I think she'll essentially act as a distraction, right? Like as a cat, she'll run across and then like sort of like transform and like kind of wave like crazy to try to get his attention to give you another die. So you got 3.
Should I re-roll with 3 or just do an additional 1?
If you like that, you can go and roll an additional 1. Yeah. It was exactly what was needed, viewer of the video. You're both taking a hit, but you defeat Sister Davies. What does this look like? Start the combat, Osto.
So Osto runs in with his hammer, and when Shiara distracts it, maybe he just whips the hammer across and takes out one leg so it stumbles forward and down.
Nice. And finish her off, for say.
So I think when she stumbles forward and down, if you're okay with me retconning pulling out my bow staff, instead I'd like to pull out my chain.
Okay, sure.
And I kind of want to like, not lasso, but like toss it over her head and just yank, either to bash her head into the ground or, I don't know, break it off.
Nice, I love it. And I assume your hits both just come from the fact that there's lots of wild, flailing, giant praying mantis limbs just scissoring the air, right? And you just get caught by them here and there. But awesome, yeah. I think you just like slam it down and I think it literally pulls the mantis head off. It just like pops it off, like you just hear like a ripping of tendon and a popping, squishing sound as it goes kind of flying off. Fantastic. Somebody roll me 11 gold dice.
Oh boy, 1 whole gold.
1 whole gold. You get something. That's good. Let's take a 5-minute break so that I can think about where we're going to go from here. You all think about what you're actually taking from Sister Davies that's valuable. And yeah, we'll pick up from there. Okay. Okay, we're back. What are we taking from this mantis beast, Sister Davies?
I think Rasay is picking from the remains. Could Osto grab Korkaluk's leg? Not for a treasure, just so that it's not just lying on the floor.
No, I don't think so.
Oh, my leg.
Oh, okay.
Oh, my leg. I need that.
No, I think the leg is lost. Yeah, so back to the treasure. And we don't need to name this monster because she's a unique monster. So. Any other thoughts?
We were talking about the scale of the monster. Like, how big is she compared to?
She is, I'd say she's probably about like fully extended and standing up about 15 feet tall, we'll say. So about a little over 2 of you, almost 3 of you.
Well, the I mean, Corkaluk was planning on taking one of those forelimbs as like a crutch. I don't know if that counts as a treasure.
Oh, Jen, you say that again, Jen. You were breaking up and muted yourself or something.
Oh, sorry. Corkaluk was planning on taking one of those forelimbs as a crutch. I don't know if that counts as a treasure, though.
I like
was
it.
An idea to take as a sort of exotic piece of the corpse. Praying mantises have those beautiful, glorious, long, pointy claw things.
Oh yeah,
yeah. That might be the right length to jam under an armpit and hobble along to get the hell out of here, and then later sell the thing in town for a gold. That
I'm
said,
into it. Yeah.
I wasn't in the fight, and so the two of you who were in the fight, you choose what way you're pulling from that corpse.
I'm okay with that.
Okie doke. Yeah, seems good to me. Mantis, giant mantis forelimb, or whatever you want to call it.
In terms of gold acquisition, I would suggest it goes to either Risse or Asta.
So, I think you all managed to make your way back up to the rooftops, which is the only really safe place for the group at this point. And when you get up to the rooftops, here's where it might be a good no, I'm going to save that for Forturin. When you get up to the rooftops, you actually see there are I think there's like one guard, one royal guard. As soon as you sort of like scramble up a ladder to get back up to the rooftops and kind of pop open the hatch or whatever, there's like a single guard there, his back turned, obviously keeping an eye out for possibly for you, possibly for someone else. But in any case, he could certainly alert the rest of the royal guard, and that would be the rest of the King's Guard, and that would be a problem. So how are you all going to handle that? We haven't heard from Diane in a while, so I'd be curious to get Diane's input here.
Yeah, I was thinking I could cast the sleep ritual, but that's also very risky.
It's super risky. Yeah. Everything is risky until you get out of here.
I mean, he's also got his back to us. We could do the cowardly backstab. That might cause as much noise as him making an alert.
Maybe not. It kind of depends. I mean, we know that at some point earlier in the history of this place, a nun fell down a crevasse and was never heard from again. They never found her body. So,
yeah. I imagine there weren't guards up there at the time.
Yeah.
Or maybe there were. Who knows?
Tossing a guard down a crevasse or a ledge up here on the rooftops doesn't seem like the most dangerous thing to do, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's kind of on brand for us at this point.
Yeah.
All right. So if
Throwing
we're
people
casting
off
this as
ledges.
a Diane thing, he's going to sneak up behind this guard, like pull out his sickle, wrap a hand over his mouth, and just do like the throat slit.
Oh my! Wow, that's vicious. Okay. Yeah, intriguing, dangerous, right?
Mm-hmm.
What could go wrong? And also, just out of curiosity, if Risse is aware of this about to happen, are you cool with this, Risse? Because presumably you still have connections and maybe even some affection for the King's Guard, right?
Yeah, I would think I'm probably not cool with it happening, so maybe I'm like still like maybe I'm like back of the pack and not fully aware.
You haven't gotten up there yet. Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, like that. You're kind of watching the rear while everyone scrambles up this stray ladder up to the rooftops, right?
On the other hand, like Diane would absolutely be talked out of this if anybody has any other ideas. This is not a very him thing. This is just he's done with this and is ready to go home.
I think we'll say that Osto is right behind you. So anybody, Osto and Shiara. Shiara's in cat form though, so Shiara's kind of always there. So I don't think Shiara has an opinion, but Osto might.
I don't think he'd object to the murder, but he'd probably advocate for just a good shove. Seems a little silly.
Shove is an option as well.
Yeah, the more I think about it, I think the just cold-blooded throat slitting isn't very Diane. So let's go with the shove.
What could go wrong here?
There's another guard or two we haven't seen.
Mm.
The guard could grab on to the shoulder.
I was going to say that maybe you manage to push him over, but he manages to like hold onto the edge, and now it becomes a scene of like there's this guard hanging from the edge, and everyone's up there now. Like, what are we going to do about that guard? Just could be an awkward moment.
I think regardless of, this might be more of a devil's bargain, but regardless of like success or failure, there could be guards stationed like right below where he would fall. So either he makes enough of a ruckus and stays up here, or he falls and lands right between them and they know what's up.
Yeah, I guess. So you're kind of like, suddenly the pursuit is back on. Yeah, that's good. I'm into that as well. Okay, so let's take a look at your dice. Well, Diane, I don't know. What do you think? Any equipment, maybe? Something from the backpack, possibly?
You do have a crowbar.
Yeah, just jostle his noggin with the crowbar and knock him out on the way down too, I guess. No, I don't know.
With a little emotional assistance from Nuala the Undrowned.
There you go. Nuala's like, push him.
Yes, exactly. Give me your grief. Give it to me.
Maybe Nuala is the one who like is causing you to do this quite merciless action. Merciless, slightly out of character action, right? That could be fun.
Yeah. I mean, that feels like a devil's bargain right there.
It could be, yeah. Any case, so what do we think for the first light die?
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't know that I really have anything. Like, I could use the, like as mentioned, the crowbar, or I guess the sickle if I'm doing it that brutally. But
I mean, the crowbar could be just like give him a push, maybe, or something, like leverage or whatever. But we can go with that for now. And then devil's bargains.
He yells the whole way down, or whether he falls or not.
That's pretty good. No matter what, he's yelling. Yeah, that's pretty good. I would say no matter what, I'll go with the simple thing. No matter what, he manages to grab your crowbar and you just let go of it, and that's why he falls, or it doesn't fall, as it were. But you lose your crowbar. So.
I was thinking the same thing, but it was stuck in him, like the crowbar was lodged and gone. Good.
Okay, so losing crowbar feels like a good one. And Jen, or an out there option as well. Jen, any devil's bargains? We can't hear you. You're muted. I think Jen froze up, or yeah. Okay, give you a minute there.
I have another bargain, so once Jen's back in.
Go ahead and say yours now, Brian.
Okay. Given Diane's connection with the Witch of Navask and oh my gosh, not Shira. What's the name of the cat being?
Shiara, yeah, the witch.
Shira, sorry, close. That, you know, in casting this guy over, there's a moment of realization of, oh wait, you were also marked.
Oh, that's good. He's got the mark of the Witch of Navask. Oh, that's pretty good, actually. I'm very into that. I think that's a good one. Jen, are you back? Did you get your stuff? Are you lagging still?
I think I'm back.
Yeah, I can hear you. There's a slight lag, but yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, my thought had also been the crowbar. So.
Okay. So that's what we've got. Like, you lose the crowbar no matter what. No matter what, the guard has the mark of the Witch of Navask, which might be important to you. And, or no matter what was the third option? It was just those two. I think it might just be those two.
Yelling.
Oh, he yells all the way down. Yeah. Or not. But he yells regardless.
Yeah, I think I'll just lose the crowbar. That seems uncomplicated.
Indeed. Roll 2 light dice and see how it goes.
It's a 5.
Nice. The complication is just going to be that I'm going to give you a condition because this is a pretty like cold-blooded action to take. I'm going to give you the condition cold-blooded. But otherwise it will work. Go ahead and describe it. We'll catch Jen up when she gets back.
Yeah, so I think it's like we open this trap door, we see him, the others are still coming out, helping Cork along the way. And I think it's a little bit just, you know, panic, doesn't know what to do. And then, like, I think I probably had the crowbar out to, like, help leverage open this hatch or whatever because it was stuck or something, or maybe there was, like, a padlock or something. And then just freezes up, takes a couple steps forward, gives him the whack, and he goes over the edge. And I think he doesn't even grab the crowbar. I think what happens is just like Diane just like shaky hands drops it.
Like throwing away the murder weapon. You're like, ah.
Yeah.
Right, good. Jen, just to catch you up, it was a 5 light, and I made the complication that Diane's taking a condition called cold-blooded because this was a pretty cold-blooded action. But the guard otherwise falls to his death. And you are safely on the rooftops. I still have to exercise the reliquary's power over Corklick in some way, and I have my thoughts on that, and it's going to happen, so I haven't forgotten about that. But for now, we are at the final set of the incursion. I think you manage to cross the Grand Basilica, and you get to the final district right before the western wall entrance to the city, which is going to be your escape from the city. And this final set is called Ash Dump. And it has a simple set goal: reach the western wall and flee the city. Now, Ash Dump is the district in Ambaret where anything unwanted or discarded eventually ends up. There's a haze of acrid, choking smog hanging over it most of the time. And the prevailing weather means it is downwind from the rest of the city. The buildings are ramshackle, rickety, made of found materials, built too high and packed too tight. It's a port of last resort in Ambaret, and it's crime-infested, disease-plagued, and generally kind of desperate. As you are moving across the rooftops, you hear this. It's the middle of the day, recall. You hear this constant cacophony of cursing and wailing infants, just general babble carrying up through the thin tin roofs and rotting tenements. At one point, you step on a roof and it sort of bows precipitously before you remove your weight from it and find another route. There is a heavy and constant, but not always unpleasant stew of smells. It's simple foodstuffs, it's sweat, a sort of sour odor of urine, that kind of thing. And up on the rooftop, there's a large, scarred tomcat with his harem lounging in the heat, given off by a tin stove chimney. He's sort of watching you with a bored curiosity. I would tell you that you see a few things. There's an abandoned tenement block right below you with boarded up windows and doors. A little bit ahead, across a couple of roofs, there's a very rickety water tower. You see a small stack of damp hay bales on the rooftop that you're currently on. And there's a burnt out church steeple nearby as well, a half-melted lead bell wedged at an awkward angle inside of it. And in the far distance, you see the western wall itself, implacable and solid, but you can reach it from this height, and assuming you avoid any trouble, shouldn't be too difficult. I'm going to start off by saying that after you've all had a chance to get away from the basilica, catch your breath a bit, see all these things that I've described, Shiara walks up to you, Diane, and points out the tenement building, the abandoned tenement building. And she says, I know that place. And I know the people who squat there during the day. They manage to purloin things from the wealthier districts, and I know that they hide those things in a cold fireplace on the 3rd floor. I don't know if we need any money to make our journey outside of the city, but this time of day, they're probably all asleep. If we go in quietly, we could come out with it.
It certainly wouldn't hurt to have a little more coin for the road, but I don't know if we're really in the position to risk it, given that guard on us. But and like he'll relay that information to the rest of the group and see if sort of like what the prevailing thoughts are.
I think say not knowing any better, but having seen Shiera like transform, is gonna ask if Shiera can talk to those cats over there. Maybe they have like information and can scope out how much of a risk it would be for us to do that.
That's interesting. I kind of like that as I like that as a hunt roll, using Shiara as the justification for the second light die. I'm kind of into it. If you want to make that hunt roll, Rasay, I think that's pretty good.
Just one, right?
No, it'd be 2 dice. You get 1 automatically, and then 1 for using Shiara in this way. So.
Right.
6 light, good. You take a hunt roll token.
A token.
And Shiara says, there's not really a language that we speak, but I can certainly walk over to them in my cat form and see what happens. And while you're all discussing whether to raid the tenement building, she will do that. She will take her cat form and walk over to that tomcat and his harem, as it's described in the incursion. We'll come back to that though. Osto and Korkuluk, what are the two of you doing?
I think if the opportunity was there, Osto would kind of want to feel out Korkuluk's thoughts on what Alistair was saying to him about the sisters and what they might be. I think that would sit poorly with him.
A philosophical discussion.
So having kind of a theological discussion of what these sisters are?
I assumed that if that came up in Hester's Mill, maybe that part wouldn't have been relayed to him, so he's hearing this for the first time.
Got it. Well, for me, it seems the wheel that makes the world turn around in a way, and yet it seems perverted and broken in places. Why would a sister transform into a mantid in a place of kind of holy, I don't know, a sort of a sacred zone, and begin a fight just seems strange or alien to me. I don't quite understand. At Hester's Mill, there seems to be this perversion Malfast who's in opposition to Hester. And it seems sort of a struggle of nature versus nurture, sort of a warp versus weft that I'm still wrapping my head around as I am walking around half porcelain and half, grapevine.
I think that you are having this, you're having this conversation, and you hear a voice over your shoulder, Korkuluk. You don't hear it, Osto, just Korkuluk. A woman's voice that says, there is some truth in the words that your friend speaks, though the story is much more complicated than that.
Go on, friend. Tell me more.
Do you turn to look?
Of course, yes.
You see a woman wearing a entirely black kind of bell-shaped gown and a headdress that puts a solid black veil over her face. You can't see her face as a result, just the black veil that kind of hangs down. And she says, before I say anything further, I must know, where are you taking me?
Talk to the hand, eh? I'm going to look at the reliquary and look at this figure and see if I can, discern within the robes. There's sort of a missing hand.
I'll give you a hunt roll if you want to, if you're trying to like suss out what's going on here.
Yeah, I feel like I'm speaking to the owner or former owner of this disembodied hand that we're toting. So, hunt one, or are there things to add here than artifacts?
You can take 2. Go for it. Yeah.
Oh, 2 3s. All right.
Mm. She says, I can see you are hesitant to tell me your aims. I hope they are at least grander than merely selling the reliquary for coin.
While I serve a particular lady, I'm learning that there are forces greater than what I can see clearly, as I am leaning on my crutch made from the tibia of a mantis. So I understand the loss of a limb. Where do you stand within the realm of sisters? What's the proper path here for us?
When I walked these lands, I was known as Reverend Mother Constance Davies. Osto, this is a one-sided conversation for you. I just saw your chat. Korkulak is talking to nothing right now, as best you can tell. Reverend Mother Constance Davies. I shall put the question to you again. Where are you taking me?
I believe your daughter is seeking to reconstitute your form.
Which of my daughters is seeking to reconstitute my form?
Patience. Tell me more about her, please.
I shall return to your original question, your original line of theological inquiry. In my time, when I walked in these lands, I had the opportunity to delve deep into the very dark places of the world, into places that existed before the sisters. And I learned much. And when I brought this knowledge back to the church, I was the catalyst for a certain schism.
Between what parties?
And then she sort of like begins to fade away. And she says, send my daughter, my love.
With that tone of voice? Sure.
And she's gone.
All right, Osto. So apparently you couldn't see the being I was conversing with here, but this was the Mother Constance Davies of as far as I can discern, both my beloved Patience Davies and her manted sister, and I kind of shake this crutch with a bit of disgust and tuck it back under and lean heartily onto it. I don't know where my allegiances lie anymore. If we could just get the hell out of here, I'd be very grateful.
I want to check in with Jen. Jen's screen has been frozen for a while. Just didn't know. Are you still here, Jen?
I am. Can you hear
great.
me?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Didn't know if you could hear us or not. So. Well, we're back. We're still on the rooftop. After a time, Shiera comes back, Rasay, and Diane, and she says, so, I get the impression that those cats belong, as much as they can belong to anyone, to the people who are squatting in that tenement building. And I know the people who they belong to. A group of local toughs, thieves, if you will, who call themselves the Ivory Hand. The tomcat is wearing a little collar that bears the Ivory Hand's mark. If the members of the Ivory Hand were awake and about, the cats would be there now begging for food. The fact that they're not makes me think that the Ivory Hand is asleep or otherwise not around.
If we cross the Ivory Hand, are we making like a very powerful enemy?
Well, my memory of them is that they don't have much influence outside of this particular neighborhood. And so if we make our egress from the city, I suspect we'll be okay.
I'm coming in late to this and don't have to satisfy my burdens, so I think this is up to the rest of you guys.
No one does. In fact, this is just pure extra money, actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because once you returning the reliquary to Patience Davies is all you need to satisfy your burdens for this. So.
I think Diane is hesitant because he's still just sort of shaken from his little bout with being a murderer. So he's very much just in the, I want to get out of here and put this all behind me.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's fair. Korkaluk is not going to be much help, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think Osto's ready to go. He's in rough shape.
Yeah, yeah. Well, 3 hot roll tokens get you out of here immediately.
We have 2, I think.
I'm out.
I show you a 0 right now.
Oh, I mean 2 total.
Oh, there's 2 total, yeah. Oh, yeah, there's only 2 in the group, yeah. One more hunt roll will do it.
Hunter on the tenement. Maybe bring a little loot with us.
Osto could use his spyglass, see if he can find a path.
Yeah, I like that. Go for it.
A 6.
Nice. You have that 3rd token, and yeah, if you want, you can see the way out. You can see that there is there's a caravan currently entering the city. Caravan moves pretty slow, but it's enough of a distraction to where you could probably slip through the gate, no problem. If you want to spend the tokens to do it.
I'm for it.
Yep.
All right, and Rasay, I assume you're cool spending your tokens. They have no more value after this. So.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
just give me a little bit of the scene as you leave the city. I mean, the group, I don't know how long Rasay has been there, but the rest of the group has been in Ambaret for like a month now, and it's been your home for a month, and it's had a very uh, high energy and quite dangerous end, but it is over. I'd like to just check in with every character as you sort of make your way out of the gate, back to Fort Durin. What does that look like? What's going on in your head? We'll start with Diane.
Yeah, I think just because of the recentness of it, Diane is still just like, again, just he's going to be thinking about this for a while. But other than that, he's happy to put the city behind him at this point. Like, before the party where this all went wrong, he would have thought this was going to be something I'll remember fondly. And now he's not sure that's true.
Yeah. What about you, Losto?
I think once they get out of sight of the wall and are well on their way, everything kind of just, all the high energy action that they've just been through, it all just hits him all at once, and he just kind of slumps and goes quiet and just proceeds very introspectively.
Yeah. Corkluck?
For me, I came here wanting some answers. I'm toting this painting by Agino that there's more to it, I know, and circumstances, this invitation to this grand ball that went so haywire have prevented me getting this answer. And yet, as I'm kind of lamenting looking at this painting and wanting answers to its sort of heritage and uses, I'm looking at my missing finger and my missing leg and my obliterated remnants of armor, and I don't bathe often, but I need a bath is what I need right now.
Rasay, how about you? What you're thinking right now?
I mean, I came here to track down and save my friends, and I did succeed. So I think to some extent I have satisfied my emotional burdens on this journey. I don't know fully yet what I was up to while they were doing all this. But I think this encounter was stressful, to say the least. So I'm just kind of looking forward to going back and seeing how my cats are doing.
That's right. You have some cats that you took from the farmhouse near Hester's Mill. Yeah, it's good. Awesome. Okay, so I think what we're going to do next is we'll do Hearthfire next. Have you back in Fort Durin, do Hearthfire. If I think probably we should make sure that probably would make sure that Rasay has a little bit of cash from the group to do Hearthfire actions would be good. And Rasay, I think it would be interesting to start thinking about what happened at the conclusion of your encounter with Granth. Was Granth, is that his name?
Granth, yeah.
Granth, yeah. Because as I recall, Granth like blames you for his like professional downfall, right? And I'm curious, like, and you had like drawn weapons against each other, but then we never saw what happened after that. I'm curious, like, did that fight take place? Did you all resolve it in some other way? We're going to take a little break. When we get back, I'd like to know, I'm going to give you full control over like what happened with Granth, and I'll kind of take that and and run with whatever you decide. I don't think we need to do a roll on it necessarily. We just kind of handle it in backstory or whatever, but or flashback. But yeah, we'll come back. We'll take a quick 5-minute break. We'll come back. Be thinking about your Hearthfire options. All the money that you have is yours to spend on Hearthfire options as you wish, because you don't have to have any to satisfy your burdens. We'll probably frame up a scene with Patience Davies at some point. Depending on how the stuff went with Granth, Granth might make a reappearance. That's up to Jen. And yeah, and then we'll kind of just see where we're at after that. So we'll be back in 5. All right, we are back. Let's do Hearthfire. So you can, this is the time to heal up. This is the time to reopen slots in your backpack if you wish. This is the time to stash money away for your into your hoard. You can use your home if you have one to clear your conditions, or your household rather. I'm making a slight adjustment to the Hearthfire household portion, where I kind of like what we did the first time, where everyone else gets to say a thing that you took with you from the adventure to put in your household, and rather than you defining it for yourself. So I think I like that quite a lot. So I think we'll do that. And yeah, so we'll have like maybe someone else makes an offer of like what you took from the incursion to put in your household, and it doesn't have to be something we actually saw. You can define it, sort of maybe something that happened off screen, right? So those are all things that are available to us right now. I am going to, yeah, so I mean, why don't we just start with, we'll start with Korkaluk. Which Hearthfire action do you want to start with?
Oh, all right. I might need one moment to look through the list here, if you can bear with me.
And if you want to just see it, like all of them, like in the PDF form, that might be easier. The sheet.
Do you have the link handy?
It might be in the folder. Let me take a look. No, it's not. I can upload it though into the folder. Give me a moment.
I just pasted a link to it. I had it open.
Okay, cool, awesome. Yeah, the character keeper assumes a high degree of familiarity with it, so I think it's sometimes easier just to look at the original PDF as produced, so you can kind of see all the options at once. So obviously, whatever money you have left over, you can put in your hoard. You can carouse to try to get information by spending a gold. You can learn a new spell. You can access your household in order to heal one ruin and to clear your conditions.
Let's talk about money for a moment. I'm sitting on 4 gold, and I'm handing back this glorious mantis tibia that I've been using as a crutch to Risay, so Risay can cash it in for a gold. But I'm sitting on 4. How are the rest of people with our burdens satisfied? Because I'm willing to divvy up the wealth, sort of all for one, 4 for all, sort of mechanic, if that works well. I don't know.
I have 3 left over. I'm okay.
I've got 2 from 2 automatically, and then also I want to sell Nuala the Undrowning.
Ooh.
I think Nuala the Undrowning probably requires a specialist buyer. Patience, that's the kind of thing she might be interested in, if you want to go down that road. Otherwise, I don't think you can sell her in Fort Duran, but it's not going to be like worth what the possibility would be, right? Honestly, a trip back to Ambaret would be the best move there. But
Guys,
not anytime soon.
right. So, but if you're willing just to take like 2 gold, I think that's probably enough.
Yeah. Diane's okay with that, but he's also going through some shit right now, so somebody else might talk him out of it if we want to hold on to it as a group. Otherwise, I'll just sell it for the 2 gold.
Risay, how are you doing on, like, you need to clear 1 ruin, which you can do automatically if you have a household. I can't remember if you established a household or not.
Yeah, I have a household. I think we established it being the apartment that my soon-to-be father-in-law, like in a building that he owns,
Yes, that's
which
right.
I don't love, but it's
It's
cheap
really
rent
nice,
for me.
but but it's that's
Yeah,
good. You're kind of like under his thumb because of it, though.
yeah.
Okay,
With the
so
mantis leg, that 1 gold. So I guess I would spend that to dock my ruin down.
just having the household is enough to lower the ruin by 1.
Oh, right. Yes.
So you could put the gold from the
Then
mantis limb in your hoard. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I'll do that.
Yeah. Cool. Okie doke. Well,
I have a hearthfire moment for you.
a
If you're ready.
what? Yeah,
A
go ahead. Please do. Yeah.
So I do have a question though. Before I jump into this, there's one of the hearthfire things is answer. You've seen a sign or an omen about what's to come.
Mhm.
What is it? You may take an extra light die on a single hunt roll or a single risk roll if you describe how that sign or omen is manifesting in the scene. Is that for now, foreboding a thing, or is that during the course of an
You do it
incursion?
now. You get the sign now, and you use it in a future incursion.
Got it. All right.
Or any future hunt roll, right? Which would most likely be on an incursion. So.
Gotcha. Let me go with right now the narrative flashback showing your favorite memory from childhood, given that as a mannequin, my childhood was a little different.
So you're putting money in your hoard then?
Yes, if I understand right. Because I got 4 gold, so dump it into the hoard.
Yeah, unless you need to spend some of it to get your ruin and stuff down, right? Or to get uses, or you automatically uncheck your armor, so that's automatic.
Yeah.
But
Right. Armor unchecked. You can spend gold to buy down ruin. I didn't understand that if that's the case.
So if you take a look at healing, you spend 1 gold in town to heal yourself of 1 ruin. Alternatively, you can mark one of the things from the list and get a freebie. So.
Okay. I'll definitely spend a gold to buy down some ruins. So
and you also clear a ruin automatically by using your household as well. So
yeah. All right. So that leaves me with 3 gold, and I think I'm stashing 3.
Okay.
And then by stashing, that lets me call up one of these hearthfire moments.
Yes. Yeah. You get to choose a hearthfire thing. Yep.
Okay. So let's narrate
or
this.
A horde option on the hearthfire.
Got it. Okay. Thank you. Sorry, I'm still picking up on the nuances of the rules. Yes. Okay. So this flashback to a favorite memory from childhood. As I'm dealing with repairing a missing leg, a missing finger, there's the mechanics of that, but it's, there's a moment in early morning where the sun comes up and the light's raking through the low windows into this cellar where I live. And I can remember seeing Mashiko, my creator, her fingers pressing into the clay as she's molding out various portions, because she started with the head and the torso and did the limbs later. And so I was sort of there, kind of cast in the corner, observing, watching her in the sunlight, manipulating the clay into its forms and then laying it out to dry prior to firing the porcelain bits.
Nice. So you actually got to see most of your body being made then. Yeah, that's cool. Good. I like that. Fabulous. Thank you. And I'll point out that if you only have, depending on how much ruin you have to clear, your starting ruin is 3. You could clear 1 with a gold and then clear 1 with your household as well. So let's go to Oster.
So I'll do the household thing and lower my ruin, and with some rest, he loses his unnerved condition.
Yeah, I love it. And I think I would like to, so it says every time you visit your household, each time thereafter, use the household to heal ruin or clear conditions. Write down a memento you kept from the incursion. If you have an idea for a memento, you can. Otherwise, I think it'd be fun to open it up to the group. So,
anyone have any suggestions?
Something from Button the Bear.
oh, was that the bear that?
Sir Peregrine
Sir
Regiment.
Peregrine had, right? Yeah, that you unleashed upon the city. Yeah, that's an idea. If Blaine or Jen have any thoughts on something you might have taken, you can choose from whatever you like best, I guess. I think something from Alistair's would be good.
Like maybe one of those statues that had the conspicuous crow.
Yeah, maybe on his way out, he stole one of the little ones.
Yeah. Well, it ties back to your brother. I don't know exactly what, but a prison memento, a tattoo needle. I don't know what it is.
Or it could be.
Oh, go ahead.
So we could sort of like tie those together. It could be something that you remember your brother lent to Alistair, and you found it in his house.
Oh, that's pretty good.
I like that.
Jen, what were you about to say?
That's better. But I was going to say that like maybe you could have grabbed some silverware from the platter in that whole like shuffle with Shira.
Right. Yeah. Oh, that was a fun scene. Yeah, I like that scene. That was really good. This whole like prolonged who's going into the bedroom, if anyone, right? Yeah. So what do you think, Drew?
I think I like something that Osto's brother lent Alistair, maybe. Maybe it was a book that he saw in the study when he was talking with Alistair. Just a little, maybe like a little chapbook kind of thing from way back. And on his way out, he stole it. Maybe a little like fairy tale kind of thing.
Oh, I like that. Like something that you all enjoyed as kids in the orphanage. That could be fun, right?
Yeah.
For a little bit of irony, it could be like one of the tales in it could be like about Beast Bitten.
Okay, yeah.
Nice, like a little fairy tale thing. Yeah. That's pretty good. Yeah, so define that however you wish and then write it down in your household.
All right.
Diane, do you have any Hearthfire? Do you want to make a Hearthfire move here?
Yeah, I need to heal, and then I'm actually going to also use one of the healing scenes on top of that.
Yeah, which one are you going to do?
I'm going to do A Beautiful Place in or near town. And for that, I think what it is like we see a picture of Diane doing part of his job for the apothecary, which is like going out and gathering herbs. So like he's outside of the city in a forest, and there's like a clearing around like a little hill, and it's just, tall grass, flowers everywhere. So there's like lots of herbs here, and it's just a very peaceful clearing with flowers everywhere.
Nice, I like it. Awesome. So you lower a ruin and mark that one from that list. Say, where do you want to start with Hearthfire?
Well, I was wondering if I should resolve the Granth thing.
Well, so how did it go? What happened?
Yeah, so I was trying to think through that. I don't think there's any way that she would like peacefully resolve that with him. So my thought was maybe they had a bit of a scuffle and she knocked him out, but wasn't sure if he was alive or not.
Okay, yeah.
And just kind of panicked and dumped him in an alley and ran. And he is alive. He's fine. But she probably was like, I am not enough of a medical expert to know if he's breathing or like any of this, and I'm panicking. So I think she's probably like been keeping an eye out for him, hoping that he won't find her, and also kind of hoping that she sees him so that she knows he's alive, because she doesn't want to have killed him.
Yeah, that's good. That gives me a lot to play with, so that's good. I like that. Okay, we'll revisit that at some point. for now, do you want to use your household to clear a ruin?
Yeah, I'll do that. I think probably I would just go back and hang out with my cats, as it were, there.
Yeah.
I think I might sort of like look at them differently now that I've seen a shape-shifting cat lady, and just sort of idly wonder, because like I found them at this kind of like witchy, spooky farm in the middle of a demon-infested land.
I mean, there's a possibility that one of those cats, or that these cats are like the descendants of like Beatrix Mandrake's familiar or something, right? Like, and maybe they just hang out at that farmhouse because of that, you know, or who knows, you know, it could be something like that. But it's an interesting idea, for sure. What's your memento? Anybody have any thoughts on the memento that Rasay might have taken from the Grand Basilica?
Mantis face, that kind of gigantic pair of bulbous eyes with this kind of twitchy mandibles.
You swipe the head.
with a beautiful nun's habit wrapped around it. Just this the perfect coif, the perfect layers.
So ghoulish. It's very ghoulish. I like it. It's up to Jen. But anyway, Blaine or Drew, any other thoughts?
Just like a little saint statue trinket from the gift shop in the Grand Basilica.
I was thinking maybe maybe the Kingsguard have like a little armband or something that they all wear, and you would have given yours up, but in your adventures, maybe you came across another one.
Interesting. Huh. Jen?
You said a guard armband, right?
Some sort of, yeah, little fabric thing.
Sorry, you said a guard armband, right?
Yes.
Yes, yeah.
I think that is probably something I would want to grab. A, it might be useful, and B, there's a sentimental part of this having.
Right. Yeah, I think that's good. Go ahead and note that down. I think we'll be good to go there. In your household. And let's circle back to Korkaluk, because Korkaluk, you used your household as well. What might you have taken, we wonder, from the adventure to put in your, it's like a little cave or something, isn't it?
Well, my hoard is stashed with a bear.
What your hoard is, that's right. Do you have a household? Have you established a household?
I do. My household is Mashiko's old studio. It's beneath the kitchen supply store that has provided me with these beautiful colanders.
That's right. Okay, good. Yeah. Good. Okay, so then
put out mementos to the rest of the group to see what they have.
Yeah. Any thoughts on the mementos that Korkaluk might have taken?
Maybe before you gave up the crutch, you snapped off one of the little serrated blades. So you just kept the little memento.
Nice.
What about if you took a small painting of Alistair and Mara and Marina, because it's like a family, you know? Like it's like this idea of family, right? Yeah. And because you kind of connected with Mara, if I recall.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
my idea.
Yeah, I don't have anything particularly good. Maybe from like Lord Peregrine's manor, there was like a You know, like those artist posable figures, like the mannequins. Like maybe he had something like that, with like this little posable doll or whatever.
But a super high end one that's made out
Yeah.
of pure silver or something.
Fancy
Yeah,
artist,
it's like-
fancy artist mannequin.
And like I think it was maybe part of like a display where it's posed fighting a small bear that's also a statue or something. It's like it was just a curiosity from him that he was playing around with.
Oh man, they're all good. Jen, any ideas?
I'm wondering if like maybe there was a bit of porcelain in the kitchen that might have caught your eye as someone who is made of porcelain. Maybe it was like maybe something about the crafting was like reminiscent, so you were hoping you could like bring it to a craftsman or who made it.
Oh, yeah. Because that's something you're kind of obsessed with, right? I mean,
Totally, yeah.
oh, yeah.
That's what I'm trying to play it as. These are all great. For now, I want to go with this painting of Alistair and Mara and their daughter,
And Marina, yeah.
Marina. But I definitely want the others to come back. Like there's rich storytelling possibilities, so don't lose sight of these kind of posable action figures and fragments of Patience Davies' sisters or something.
Indeed.
I have a question regarding armor here. Normally, I'm running around toting two braided cornhusk gambeson and this porcelain colander helmet, but in the midst of this adventure, I purloined a silver soup tureen from Alistair's house. Now that I'm back, can I morph one of these as my leg is being repaired into some lovely shin guards or something and carry an extra burden, or do I?
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah. If you're willing to take the burden, you can absolutely have more armor for sure. Yeah.
All right, and I can change the format of that armor.
Yeah.
I will do so.
And it all unmarks automatically by going back to town. So I now know. Let's swing back over to Diane, because Diane, you also used the household, didn't you?
Yeah.
I have an offer for a memento, which is, I think on your way out of what was I can't remember the name of the girls' school where Shiera joined you. Let me find the name of it.
Madam Heathertops.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Betterment of somebody.
Yeah, I gotta find that. Hold on, because I want the exact name here. Madam Heathertop's Academy for the Betterment of Young Ladies. I think you actually. I think on your way out, you might have swapped something from there, and I think it was I'm thinking of like some kind of like book that has a list of all of like basically like graduates, I guess, of the school, like some kind of like yearbook sort of thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what your interest would be in that necessarily, but I could see it being some kind of like maybe some like research for the Witch of Navask, right? Because this was a school where they're all witches, apparently. The Witch of Navask, there's a connection with Shiara, that maybe there might be something there that can give you some insight into the Witch of Navask. So I'm thinking like some kind of record book or something like that from Madame Heathertop, some kind of, yeah. I don't know exactly how to precisely call it, but it would be like a yearbook essentially, right? Mm-hmm. With like little engraved or or like little like stamped images of the girls or whatever, right? That's my idea, but
I was going to suggest also a Madame Heathertop's memento, but since you were stuffed in the linen closet, I was picturing more of a nice apron or shawl that could keep your clothing clean while you were working on various crafts in your role as a hedge. And, it's got this perfect monogram that says, Madam Heathertop's Academy, and you can keep your garments clean while you're working with this.
I was thinking similar, just a towel with the embroidered logo.
The thing about like a towel is, I wonder if he even realized he had it. Maybe it just like got stuck in his belt or something. He gets out of town and it's like, oh. Any idea from you, Jen?
I like the idea of something from Heather Top's Academy. I'm wondering if there's like some kind of like letterhead or stationery that you might have been able to find there. That has like their
little mark or whatever. Yeah.
Those are all good. I do like the book as something to like potentially maybe useful. Who knows? Like maybe they're all have no idea how to fix this curse or whatever. Maybe half of them might be dead. Who knows? But I think I'll take the book.
A yearbook of Madame Heather Top's alumni or something. We'll call it an alumni book, right? Yeah, it's good. Fabulous. And any other Hearthfire things? People stuffing things away in their hoard, anything like that? Sounds like Cork looks all finished. Osto, you want to wrap up here?
I would like to do a heal and a hoard.
Okay, sure, go for it.
For my heal, I'll narrate a scene showing a private side. And I think, so despite his more gruff occupation and the trouble he gets into, he, in his private moments, actually draws. And he works with just charcoal and whatever scrap paper the orphanage can spare. And so kind of in his downtime and to relax, he just starts sketching, and he realizes pretty quickly that he's drawn the Marquise Noral. And yeah.
I like it. Yeah, it's good. It's great. That's a whole other storyline, right? The Marquise Noral. We kind of got back to Malfast a little bit, but the hunt is still a thing. Maybe, who knows? It's interesting. Do you want to go ahead and just do your hoard thing as well?
Okay. I will do narrating a scene to show how I'm getting closer for the extra 2 gold. And so with the gold that he has accumulated, he's, the way I kind of see it is, it's less, maybe he's not handing a big lump sum at the end, but he's kind of putting out little bits here and there to get more information and find out who he needs to talk to. So with this small influx of 5 gold, he manages to track down another step in the chain of informants to who he needs to pay off to get his brother out of Barsoul.
Nice, I love it. Rasay, are you putting any money in your hoard?
Yeah, 1 gold.
Go ahead and make an option and tell us what it is.
Remind me, the option, there's 2 above the hoard, and then there's the ones on the side. The ones on the side are for when you hit that point, right?
No. It's just you can choose one whenever you put gold in. You just pick one.
Oh, okay. In that case, I think maybe I would want to narrate a flashback showing a personal triumph related to my background. I think the like putting up the hold ritual reminded me of like when I first learned that as a King's Guard. I think probably I was a quicker study than most, barrier pretty quickly, but also mine was stronger than the others around me. So I think that's probably what I do.
Nice. Okay, good. So like basically you were very good at this is kind of what the deal is, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Anything else you want to add, or is that good?
I don't think so. Like I said, I think I'm for my healing. I'm hanging out with my cats. I think I might want to like ask them questions and see how they respond, or just in general things that a normal cat wouldn't respond to. How they.
Right. Yeah. It's interesting. Yeah. I mean, I think you get the sense that they lived their lives at this farmhouse in this blighted land, but the farmhouse was a safe place, right? And it was a place of ritual magic. And I do kind of like the idea of the cats being descendants of some cat that Beatrix Mandrake had at some point. I don't know how sentient they are, but I do think that you get the impression that there is something special about them. I don't know what it is yet, though. It's something maybe to explore in the future, but I do like the idea of it. It's kind of where I'm at with it right now. I'm open to suggestions, though.
Cool.
I have a broad suggestion, but a question. What's Shiara's role in this, in her cat morphing sort of Witch of Navask member of Madame Heathertop's Academy? It's like she seems to be a linchpin in 3 plot lines at this point.
She kind of is, yeah. I mean, I think when she returns to Fort Durin with you all, I think she'll probably stick pretty close to Diane initially, right? But I think she's probably pretty industrious, and I think she probably will begin to, she'll probably try to find work in Fort Durin. She does have like some basic skills. She might be of help to the apothecary or to the apothecarist, because she probably has some understanding of tonics and potions and decoctions and things like that, right, from her training at Madame Heathertop's. And so, yeah, if Blaine's cool, that I could see Shiara becoming kind of like an assistant to the apothecarist that Diane lives with. And so maybe they have that whole kind of little thing going on. She might even confirm that there is something special about the cats that came from Hester's Mill, that Rasay is taking care of, and in some way, yeah. So that's kind of my thinking on Shiara at this point.
Yeah, no objections from me.
Any other Hearthfire things we need to take care of?
Yeah, I've got a couple. One which we haven't done yet, I don't think.
Which one?
First, I want to fill up my heart and do a scene, but though I want to open up a slot for my backpack to replace the crowbar.
Good.
So there's some stuff that goes on there. But first, yeah. I'm going to dump 3 gold into my hoard. And then the scene that I'm going to do is a scene in the present showing how I'm getting closer to my drive. which then adds another further 2 coin to my hoard.
Right.
But so the scene is like there's a brief like montage almost of like Diane studying late at night, like poring through books, and maybe Shira is helping him sometimes and not others. And then at the end of that, like he finds some sort of ritual that has something to do with the curse in some way, but it's something he couldn't have done by himself. So like if somebody has to cast the ritual on him, or he has to cast it on somebody else that has the curse. So we see this ritual being set up between Diane and Shiara. And it's like, he's in the center of a circle. She's lighting candles around it. I don't know what else exactly goes on. There's probably, I don't know how her magic looks like as with her being a witch, but like there's at the end of the ritual, like the mark on his hand from where the witch touched him and planted the curse has changed in some way. I think it's not like vastly changed, but it was like this twisted black mark, and it's now like less twisted. It's almost straightened out, like it's losing its hold a little bit.
Nice. That's great. Yeah, I love that. It's awesome. That's a great way of tying in Shiara to all of it as well. That's good. Question from Brian about burdens, armor plus weapons. Nope, that's it. And if you learn new rituals as well. But the Scarecrow ritual doesn't count towards burdens because that was a freebie.
All right, thank you.
Okay. And also, Diane, you said you were going to the shop to open up an equipment spot?
Yes.
Okay, so the first time you do so, name the shopkeeper, and you get to define, this is an out-of-character thing, what the shopkeeper's secret is, and we'll write that on your sheet here. What do you think?
Yeah. It's always coming up with names in the immediate present that's hard. Let's see. I think his name is Velen.
Okay. And what's his secret or her secret? Is Velen is it a man's name, woman's name?
Let's make it a woman's name.
Okay.
For her secret, don't have anything for that either. Let's see.
The secret can be anything as long as it's something that your character might be interested in. And so I think something related to your drive would be great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was thinking along that lines too. Like maybe she also has a curse on her, but it's not by the Witch of Navask. It's somebody else's curse.
Oh, I like that. That's pretty good. So she's cursed as well. Yeah, I like that. Okay, we'll just write it down as that for now. She has a curse of some sort. Yeah, that's good. And yeah, that's good. Fabulous. Any other Hearthfire things? Sounds like we're all sorted. So we have 45 minutes left. What do I want to do with that? I think we'll just have like scene requests for the rest of the time. So if you all want to request a scene, say what you'd like the scene to be in Fort Durin, and I could come up with something on the fly. We'll get it figured out. I may ask some questions about the nature of the scene, but if there's something you'd like to do in town, basically, or have a certain type of scene with a certain character, I'm open to hearing that right now. So the first person with an idea, just let me know.
Not to be too much of a dork here, but I've kept a list of plot threads that we've left hanging. And so if you'd like me to read from this list. And
please do. Regale us.
So, recently, Patience Davies, Reverend Mother Constance Davies, her now murdered sister, who
is named Temperance, by the way.
Temperance, all right. Temperance Davies, thank you. Tying back to the Beatles in the carriage, which led to this whole excursion, and we never quite resolved the hanging thread of in Fort Durham there was a subterranean lair where Patience Davies was devouring guards, and we didn't quite resolve that. So there's that.
Yep.
Back to Hester's Mill, there's still unresolved things with Malfast, the vagrant who is a beast-bitten Beatrice Mandrick. The cats now have more to play in that story somehow. There's a bunch of amphibious eggs in a silver bowl we don't know a damn thing about.
That is true, yes.
There's the Marquis Naral and the unattended hunt at the Huntsman's Manor, and who knows what influences the Marquis would have here at Fort Durham. What else? Well, we left Alistair's house burning.
Just the top floor, yeah.
Granth and Rasay are in this embittered history regarding promotion and their status in the Kingsguard and relationship. And we got this Shiara, who's sort of a semi-unknown cat shape-shifting being who crosses 3 plot lines. So take it from there.
Nuala as well, right? I think, is Nuala still in your possession, Diane, or did you get rid of Nuala?
No, I sold Nuala.
Sold Nuala. Okay. Okay, well, yeah, those are all some interesting little, that's a good recap, thank you, of dangling plot threads, sort of. I mean, they're all just things to do something with, maybe in the future. But, yeah, so again, if anybody has an idea for a scene, I'm open to scene requests for the rest of the session.
I think Corkluck turning the reliquary in could be good.
I like that scene a lot too. Yeah.
Yeah, and logical and heartbreaking. Perhaps we'll see how it goes.
Good. Are you going alone?
No, because I didn't slaughter her sister. Her sister ripped my leg from my body, but it really is not my fault that sister is dead. And so all y'all are coming with me to explain why her sister is dead in case that goes poorly.
I think at the very least, Rasay would definitely come. Yeah. Partially out of guilt and partially out of a need to protect her friend.
Well, and also, Granth was Patience's employee, lest we forget, right? That's one angle as well. So, yeah, Rasay, I think as you're all turning the corner to go to Patience's in-town lair, right, which is that little basement area that she always keeps a guard posted at, the guard posted is Granth. Rasay, you're aware of it initially. How do you react?
Oh man, I think my immediate response is to just duck around the corner for a second and take a breath. And I don't know if my companions are seeing me do this or not, but if they do, I think I'll just be I'll wave them ahead, and I think I'm probably going to try and formulate a sentence that does not sound hostile, but doesn't reveal the fact that I may have hurt him in case he got bonked so hard he forgot.
That's pretty good. So who's going to, you'll be let in, no problem, but you do still have to present yourself to Granth. Who is doing that of the group?
I can present as I kind of hobble up on a new leg that doesn't quite fit right, and I've got to like periodically yank on some vines and tie them a little tighter so that the hip joint locks in. Kind of hobble up. I'm like, Grant, you know, patience is expecting me, and I know you've had some history with.
Are you drawing attention to Rasay right now?
Sorry?
Are you going to draw attention to Rasay, or?
No, I'm being vague here. You've had some history with members of the King's Guard, and I will remind you of your current employer and her status. And so our audience, you know, needs to pass through. And
you will notice that Grant is, his skin looks, I don't think translucent is the right word, but it looks very pale and very thin. And you can see that there are like the veins in his like neck and face are more visible, are visible, period. That's not normally the sort of thing you can see on someone, but you can see his, and maybe it's just a trick of the late afternoon light, but they appear blackened. And he says, "Yes, I have standing orders to let you in." And as he says that, as he speaks the words, a centipede crawls out of his mouth and crawls up his cheek.
Oh no.
And he steps aside to let you go down.
I'm gonna urge everyone to go down as quickly as possible to get away from zombie bug Grant. But I think I'm gonna be watching that centipede out of the corner of my eye to see where it goes.
I'll tell you that there's no recognition. Grant doesn't seem to know who you are.
Convenient, but also scary.
Yeah.
I'll scuttle down the stairs.
You go down the stairs and you feel that distinct crunching beneath your boots as you enter this quite dark basement space. There is a lantern on a table at which Patience Davies sits. Her black gown seems to meld with the carpet of beetles and cockroaches that are on the ground. And she has that beautiful porcelain mask, expressionless but well crafted. And she says, "Ah, the heroes have returned, and I sense you have in your possession something that I've wanted for a very, very long time."
It seems the moment to present this. I'm assuming this is how our burdens are relinquished.
It is, yeah.
So I think we have a little choice here. But, you know, my darling Patience, here is the reliquary, the hand of, I believe, your Reverend Mother Constance, who said to give you her warmest greetings.
You spoke to the Reverend Mother?
It's more accurate to say that she spoke to me. I listened.
I urge you to discard her lies. Whatever she said to you, the words were false, I can assure you. She has a small chest of coin, which is equal to all of your burdens. And she puts her hand on your hand, Korkaluk. And there's a tiny, very, very tiny little colony of spiders, say, that are crawling from her hand to the joints in your wrist. And they're beginning to spin webs and create a little webbed spider colony inside the wrist, inside the joint. A token to remember me by.
It seems rather delightful and reinforcing. I've heard stories of the strength of spider webs.
You can take that as a condition. And then she says, to you, Risay. I don't know your name, dear, but you have a rather shocked look on your face. Is it my temporary home that gives you distress or something else?
I think Risay is probably caught between being a little bit angry about whatever happened to Grant, because, like, he was a bad person, but he was a person, and a person that Risay knew. So I think she's probably caught between that and, like, wanting to challenge her for that, but also being legitimately very scared. So I think probably she'll respond in a sort of like submissive manner, but there's like a hint of that anger and fire in her actions. So I think she'll just say, there's a lot to wonder about in your presence. You and your sister have a lot of power, and I've witnessed that now twice in as many days.
What of my sister?
Well, I mean, I think Risay is not a wordsmith, so probably just like, well, the bug, the rather large transformation, impressive display, no doubt.
A blessing from the gods, perhaps.
I think Risay is not going to say anything in response to that, because I think she probably feels very strongly that that's not a blessing, but doesn't want to say that. Maybe just like a quiet nod at most.
She looks over to you, Diane, and says, you bear the mark of the Witch of Navask, hedge wizard. I can see it on you. I can sense it on you.
Yes, I was cursed by her for not satisfying her desires as staunchly as she wished.
I know the Witch of Navask. She used to be a traveling companion of my mother's. She delved into some of the deepest, most forgotten places of the world, presumably where she found her power.
I only ever knew her as the village witch. It makes sense that she found power in the old forgotten places.
So many people were changed in those times. They were different times, and new generations come after the old to put their mark on the world. What mark will you all leave, I wonder? Or will you leave a mark at all? Will you perhaps just be forgotten?
Frankly, I don't much care if I leave a mark. I just want to have my art again, have my craft.
What are you thinking right now, Osto?
Oh, I don't like this. And he's kind of dreading what she might say, especially given the fortune telling he got.
Remind us.
Blank cards, just all blank.
I can play with that. She says, you be spitten. You're the only one of your companions who I can't get a read on. It's almost like you don't exist. Or perhaps your existence will simply end. I don't know, but you are an unstuck creature. Neither here nor there. The road you travel will almost certainly lead to oblivion. The question is, whose oblivion?
I don't think he would say anything to this, just kind of shrink in on himself again and maybe take a small step back.
I thank you all for your service. I don't know if I have any more business in Fort Duran. I shall be leaving this place soon. But
Wait. We were just getting close.
wait, let's say that again.
Oh, I said, wait. We were just getting close. This is my sort of porcelain goddess who I'm enamored of, and that it sounds like she's about to depart. Yeah.
She will say, do not fear. I can find you again whenever I need to. I think we'll just end the scene there. Stars and wishes. Conclusion of what felt like a pretty big chapter in the story. Glad we got to see Rasay for a little bit at the end of it. To save your bacon as well. It was very, very good. And because I don't think the fight with Temperance Davies was going to go well. And yeah, so my stars are star for Brian for reminding us some of our story threads. I think those are all, it's very handy things to be made aware of again. Those are all nice, good things. Star for, I thought the first scene was really quite good. I really enjoyed the whole sequence of like grabbing the reliquary and holding off Temperance Davies and eventually fighting Temperance Davies. I thought it was all great. And yeah, and I also really enjoyed the Hearthfire bits, like the little flashbacks and kind of learning more about your characters, the mementos. It's just, it all feels very rich and fleshed out, and I'm really enjoying all of that. Wishes. I think my main wish is for me to just be able to sit down and figure out which incursion comes next, because I have some thoughts, and I'm going to look forward to just kind of like digging into my collection of incursions and seeing what makes the most sense. and coming up with the next move here, which makes the most sense for the story. So I'm looking forward to doing that. That's my wish is just that I pick a good one, I guess. But anyway, that's kind of where I'm at. Any other stars or wishes?
We just had some fantastic devil's bargains all around this session.
They were quite good, yeah.
So star that.
A star to Brian for always being willing to lose some appendage for the cause. A wish that I have is I want to know more about that guard that Diane killed. Like, I maybe want that to come back to us, or to see what his thoughts are on it. Like, did this guard have a family? I don't know.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, like just to not have him be a nameless, faceless guard who got tossed off a ledge.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good.
To
I'll
be
throw in
explicit,
another wish for I continue to hope that Alistair continues to be a big part of the story. I don't know how, but I'm still very interested in that thread.
Alistair, I want to hear more about Mara. I want to know what she's got to say. She's got more stories, I think.
Yeah, the whole family, right, is they're a benighted lot.
For stars, I think from me, just the way all the little story lines for all the characters have kind of progressed here, and seeing them intersect in interesting ways, and everyone just kind of rolling with that is really fun. Wishes, besides seeing Alistair, I'm looking forward to seeing Sir Peregrine.
Return of Sir Peregrine. Yeah, that could be interesting, huh? He's like the kind of character you just like love to hate, right? So yeah, that could be enjoyable.
And as a note, I did keep my cold-blooded condition, even though I technically could have removed it in the
good
house downtime.
Yes.
So, like, I do also, as a wish, like, want that to not be just a forgettable moment where, oh, we killed this guard and then we were able to get away. I think that's
the beauty of the condition, right? Because the condition, by you keeping it around, continues to make it a story, an aspect of the story, right? So,
yeah. Then also, just as a sort of a star and sort of a wish combined, when Diane asked Shiera to come with him, I was expecting it to be like a brief thing so that they could get more time to talk later. I was not expecting her to be like a hanger-on of the crew, so that's interesting and fun to see how that's going to continue to develop.
Let me jump in there because I had forgotten about Rasay having pulled these cats from Hester's mill, and the notion of Shiera as a shape-shifting cat who bears the mark of the Witch of Navask managed to sort of cross storylines in a way that
absolutely, yeah. I love the idea that there's something else going on there. I like the idea of a potential connection to Beatrix Mandrake, who, if I recall correctly, and I have to ask because I've run Hester's Mill so many times, your Beatrix Mandrake is still buried, right? Did you ever unbury her? Okay, all right. Confirm. Yeah. All right. Good. Yeah, I really enjoyed that, and I really enjoyed the more we've played and the more opportunities we've had to kind of just continue connecting up story threads has been really, really enjoyable. And the characters feel so, their stories feel very complex in a way that I find satisfying, right? Like, and there's just so many little details that kind of manifests, that manifests in, like, the details about the things in your household, the details about, like, the way you, when you visit your hoard, and the details that you choose to share there, like all that stuff, it just sort of like we just keep learning a little bit more and more and more and more about the characters and the way that different storylines are starting to cross. I thought this sort of like big sort of creepy finale scene with Patience Davies, where everyone's there with Patience Davies, right? And Patience like kind of not, you know, not being the most reassuring entity, kind of like, you know, giving you your money and otherwise saying dark cryptic things and sending you on your way. I thought that was a great like kind of kickoff to like the next chapter or whatever, right? Like that all felt really good to me. So yeah, I'm super interested. I'm glad we got to connect up so many story threads and story beats. Thought it was fun. Any other stars or wishes?
I definitely want to learn more about Osto being an unstuck creature and what that means. That'll be fun.
She sort of seemed to like indicate that the way I was thinking about it was the fact that you're a cured beast bitten means you're in some ways neither here nor there, right? And maybe that's what the cards were trying to say. Maybe that's what Patience Davies picked up on. But it's just this idea of like, you're, you know, maybe you're like a null entity, right? Like, what are you? Where are you? You know, this idea of being an unstuck creature, it's intriguing, right? Like, you know, like, where are you from? What if we like learn that you know, there's some aspect of the orphanage that we don't know about yet, right? Like that could be interesting, right? So, yeah. There's also like a slight implication that Alistair was considerably older than you, just because he's so established and has a family and a business, you know. It makes you wonder if like something has happened in the interim, right? Like there's some missing bit of the history. I think it's interesting. It's very intriguing, for sure. So many intriguing little things. The Grant thing is intriguing. I want to know if I kind of like the idea of like Rasay. Maybe in the future we see Rasay showing some mercy to Grant, you know, in Grant's current form. You know, could be intriguing. Anyway, any other stars or wishes? Are we good? Okie doke. In that case, thank you all so much. I'm glad we got to meet today and play. And yeah, I think I'll go ahead and just stop the recording.